Welcome to another episode of In Conversation with Danbro Business. Today we're speaking to Jack Smith and Emma Vian from Daily Dose. Thanks for doing this, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So I wonder if you could start by telling us a little bit about yourselves, about your backgrounds and just Daily Dose in general, really.
Do you want to start? Or?
Ladies first.
Right. I started working when I was about 16, 17. I was in John Lewis on the Charlotte Tilbury counter. I was a makeup artist. So I'd done that for about 4 or 5 years maybe. Then moved on to a little bit of hospitality. I decided through lockdown that I wanted to open a business, and that business being a coffee shop, cafe. So thought needed to go and get some experience. So that's then when I went to go and do a bit of hospitality. I'd done that for about a year, and then Daily Dose started. It happened.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a whirlwind, wasn't it?
It was.
My background is, well, if you go back to the very beginning, I was a joiner or a carpenter for 11 years. I enjoyed the end product, but I never fell in love with what I was doing. I thought, this is not for me. I like my skills that I've got, but it was never what I wanted to do. It didn't fulfill me enough. So after the 11 years, I got into something I really enjoyed, which was personal training. And even personal training led me on to more things. And then I expanded everything and started going into the health side of it and become a health coach. And I still do it now to the day. But when Emma decided she wanted the coffee shop, it changed everything. Literally, like, you couldn't have put a snowball in a faster hill because it just tumbled out of anywhere, didn't it? But yeah, health coaching, I still am to the day. I love nutrition, I love training people, I love helping people. So that's pretty much my background.
So why a coffee shop? Why was it? Why did you go with that?
Through lockdown, I took a massive interest in coffee and the coffee culture, and I'm also massively into food, and again with Jack, nutrition. So yeah, through lockdown, I just kind of thought, right, I need to get some experience here. What can I do? So went to go and work in a little cafe in Liverpool.
Was that with the view to start?
Yeah. I was more interested in the side aspect of things, and then ended up, when I was in there, getting trained at the coffee machine, becoming a barista, and then it was from there I just took a massive interest, and that's kind of where
she sent me on the first time she used the coffee machine. She sent me the first latte art, and to look at what she can do now compared to then, it's hilarious, isn't it? It just stems and then you blossom then. But it's amazing. The idea that she wanted to create a coffee shop to everyone, it was just a bit like, it's a great idea, but everyone in the background was just a bit like, do you have enough experience? Where are you going to get your ideas from for food, for the coffees that you want to do, or the place where you want to be? It wasn't easy, was it? The thing that we had was time. We had plenty of time because of lockdown, didn't we?
Time, and it was trying to get that experience because I hadn't had any. I've only really had it in retail and hospitality. A lot of people like to have hospitality background. When employing. So it was really difficult, wasn't it, trying to get work experience?
Yeah.
And then I just got sent a post one day, and they were just like, try for this role. And then I did, and straight away I loved it, absolutely loved it.
And
really enjoyed it, yeah. And then just kind of went from there, really, didn't we?
Regretting it now, hospitality.
So we'll come on to that. So when you started the coffee shop, or decided to start the coffee shop, why did you choose Aughton? You guys are based, I should tell viewers and listeners that we're actually we're in Aughton today filming. Are you guys based around here, and is that why? Was it just a simple decision to start that?
So I was posh. I'm a bit of a scallywag. For anyone that's listening, my accent's slightly more unique to the Liverpool area.
Well put.
So I've lived in Aughton my whole life.
Okay.
For years. And there was just nothing in Aughton, absolutely. There was a butcher's which had just shut down. There was the spa next to the butcher's which had closed down years ago.
It looked run down, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a bit of a ruin. And then
For
obviously
such a
the
nice
co-op.
area as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was the co-op, and
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know the area,
yeah,
it's amazing. It really is. There's everything here. Well, now there's everything here. Houses are beautiful, walks are beautiful, parks are beautiful, people are lovely. And to be honest, when I first met Emma, I knew where it was, but I didn't know what to expect. And you just drive down the roads and you see the sheer difference from where I'm from. I didn't grow up in, was that to swear?
Can do.
I didn't grow up in a shithole, but compare Aughton compared to where I'm from is just totally different, and it puts you in perspective of you live 20 minutes down the road and it's absolutely stunning. And one thing Emma touched on there was missing that community place where people can go and just relax, and then Emma just thought that the coffee shop would be the perfect place.
I mean, on the one hand, there's a massive opportunity there because there's nothing like that that exists. But on the other hand, if there's nothing there that exists that's like it, people will just be coming to your coffee shop, won't they? So was there nerves in terms of?
Yeah, massive. I had a lot of people challenge me saying, "Is Aughton the right place? Is there going to be enough clientele there?" And you know, just a lot of challenges, wasn't there? A lot of people saying,
as well. Yeah, it's not a city centre, so you've got to think of traffic. And
a lot of people saying, is there a reason that businesses don't survive around here? But yeah, no, I was excited for a change, and a lot of nerves. Obviously, we opened through lockdown as well, which was very nervous.
Yeah,
a lot of
Well, it's one thing for a lot of business. You know, a lot of businesses said that when they started during lockdown. But your business is reliant on people coming in and out, and restrictions were preventing that.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
how did you find that? I mean, I guess you wouldn't have had much frame of reference either in terms of running businesses.
That was the unique part of it, because we didn't have any references to go back with. We didn't have any numbers, any data, anything to challenge ourselves to this new journey that we were taking. So we went for it. I mean, hats off to Emma. It was her idea. She wants to push it. The landlord was very generous in terms of saying, when you're open, just relax, get your feet on the ground. When we first opened, it's nearly 2 years ago, so it was the end of March. It was takeout only.
Right.
Literally, you were only allowed in the shop if you worked there or you were ordering, and that was it. Now, although that sounds crazy, it was the best thing to happen to us, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we had probably 6 to 8 weeks of stages. So stage 1 was takeout only. Stage 2 was outdoor seating. And then the final stage was, you can pretty much not go for it, because there was still substantial rules where you had to move the tables to a meter apart and stuff like that. But it gave us the best insight to customers, to how we're going to work everything, the till system, the layout and everything. But it sounds to someone who was already in the same business, to them it probably would have impacted them, and they probably would have been worried and, oh, what are we going to do? But us, it was sort of like
it was amazing.
The weight off our shoulders.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have the pressure of, if we opened today and the tables weren't right or the till weren't right, we couldn't wing it as much as we did through them stages, which was just the best. You couldn't write a book on it. So yeah, it worked out well.
It was amazing because obviously, as we've just been saying, around Aughton there was nothing, absolutely nothing. So through lockdown, it was a case of a walk and then home. There was absolutely nothing. Whereas when we did open, it was amazing. Like, we could never have imagined it, could we?
No. I mean,
it was
Izzy
just
was there
so
on our day
busy.
one.
Yeah.
There was 3 of us working, and we were just selling coffee and cake.
It was chaos.
We look at the take-ins now and the take-ins back then, and how these two done it. I mean, I was there to help. I said to Emma, but at the time the gyms was shut, you weren't allowed in them. So I said to Emma, listen, I'll be there every single day that the gyms aren't open. Whatever you need doing, I'm there. Izzy asked for the job, we were like, yeah, cool. And it was manic.
It was, yeah.
Emma was the only one who could make coffees. I got taught, but I was just blasé about it, just everything going over my head. Izzy was on the till, and there was so many people outside.
Just
and you
didn't
can usually
expect
tell
it
a busy
at all.
day, especially with coffees, because the bag at the end of the day, you can feel how
Yeah.
heavy it is. And don't think there's really been that many days where it's been as heavy as it was on
No.
the weekend we opened.
So why was it so busy then? Did you do much advertising beforehand? Any
No,
social
Literally
media?
the night before.
Yeah,
The night
like
before
we're
I
opening.
announced it on
Wow.
Instagram, I was like, right, okay. 'Cause I was just so nervous thinking, right,
Yeah.
are we ready? Are we ready? But now I thought, right. So I put the post out at 7 o'clock the night before. And then, yeah, just the next
Yeah.
day, it
In at
was
the deep
just,
end.
Yeah, we did have a
Yeah.
local cake supplier who
Yeah.
did probably push people our direction as well. He's cool, but it just, we didn't really know prices, we didn't know what we were doing, and it's just crazy to see him, to look at it now as it's probably established now, it's been open 2 years and it's successful, we're happy, but from day one to then, it's just been a whirlwind, hasn't it?
So winding it back a little bit to when you were in the process of starting the venture, how did you go about sourcing and renovating the premises and stuff?
Well, to be honest, so the landlord said, "Listen, is a blank canvas. I'm gonna leave you with white walls, and I'll leave you with a floor. The rest is up to you." Luckily enough, we had a kitchen in the back already, and it was just like a guessing game, wasn't it? We'll put the oven there, we'll put the fridges there, and everything was done to as cheap as we probably could do it, but without affecting too much things. So you didn't want something that you needed to buy twice because you're buying
something durable.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it needs to be up there.
I was fortunate enough that Jack was obviously a joiner
Yeah,
going
so
back
I could do
all
like,
those years ago. So he was on all the joinery work.
Yeah.
Didn't
So
he?
the seats in the bar, I done all that. Shout out to my dad as well. He won't listen to it, but obviously he was there. He was helping because he's a joiner as well. So Emma decided, she was the designer, she wanted this, and I just said, cool, I'll do all the physical work and you do all that mental work that no one likes doing. But as I say, I couldn't have planned it any better. I think everywhere that woman's touch is essential to anything, just like your mum does for every single property that you get or whatever. So it's just essential. So even down to putting the beads on the bar itself or on the till, it just makes it look a million times better. So when she designed it, we made it, and it was still a pretty much blank canvas for them 8 weeks because we didn't put any tables, any chairs in there because we thought it'll encourage people to sit down, and we've got to tell them to get out. By law, they've got to be out. So it was a step-by-step thing, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, the first tables that we got, we've still got 2 of them now, but they were the biggest tables. And if anyone in hospitality would see them tables, they would cry and say, they're a waste of space, get rid of them because your covers are just going to go down the window. So now, obviously, 2 years down the line, we've invested, we've got half the size tables, way more chairs, but it was just a learning curve, really.
It was.
So, yeah, it sounds very much so like that. You've learned as you've gone.
Yeah.
In terms of raising the funds to start the venture, obviously there'll be a lot of people similar to you, similar age, who want to do something similar. So how did you go about, if you don't mind talking about that, raising the funds to start the business?
Yeah. So working 2 jobs.
Really?
When I was still at Charlotte Tilbury, and then when I wasn't there, I was working in Organico. I just, for a long time, I'd been saying to my family and to all my friends, I know I want to do something. I want to do a business. I don't know what I want to do yet. This is going back probably about 3 years before I'd started Daily Dose. I said for about 3 years, I was like, I know I want to do something. I just don't know what it is. So I just had a savings account. So everything I was earning, well, not everything, but I was just putting away a certain amount. And yeah, managed to save up. But it's not happened overnight. We're still to this day, we're still spending like.
Still spend every week we spend, don't we?
Yeah, it's just takes time. Like it doesn't happen overnight. It's do what you can, and we were fortunate enough that, I say fortunate, but it's definitely not the right word. We were in lockdown, so it was just a step at a time, and that way we had a bit of time to save up for the indoor tables, the outdoor tables. But yeah, just
we pinch
savings.
ourselves because you can say we're lucky, or you can say no, we've got a good concept and we've got a great shop, which is obviously the best way to look at it in the most optimistic way. And yet you've got to be confident in yourself, but probably you realise people that come back, your regulars, that they're telling you something, so you're doing something right. And when touching back on, we spend every week on reinvest, and if it could be a new blender, it could be a new toaster, it could be anything, but if it wasn't the way it is now, we'd have to bite our tongue and wait till a couple of months or finance things and stuff like that, because that's what normal people do. So at the start, it was a case of, right, there's the pocket of money and we'll see how it goes. But then 6 to 8 weeks helped us, which was perfect. It's crazy to think that it helped us more than it didn't, because obviously people have got to pay bills and people have got to pay everything, all your stock in it. And if you're not getting people through the door, then how can you pay for all these things? But we were getting people through the door. And I presume, because I presume that it was just for nothing but support. Because they had no idea about what our coffee was going to taste like, what our cakes were going to taste like, or anything else. So they were just coming back for support, which we can't thank them enough. Our coffee is like not changed. We've still got the same bean, but everything changes in terms of, if we employ more staff, we've got to teach them how to use the coffee machine. And so again, it was all about support at the start. So that just ticked us, didn't it? Like, kept us going.
We talk about obviously the quality of the product is important, but also the look and the feel. You talked about the coffee culture and stuff before. So understand, like, social media's had a bit of an impact on your business as well, particularly Instagram. So do you have a particular strategy when it comes to your online presence and how that fits in with the look and feel of the shop as well?
To be honest, there was a time, and this was before we had managers. This was before we had full-time staff, so everyone was just pretty much part-time. We were saying to ourselves, because we were working so hard, we haven't got time to do social media. We might do the odd post, and I can't take pictures because I don't want to say I'm a guy, because there's loads of guy photographers out there, but I just haven't got the eye. I can't take pictures of food without it looking ridiculous, and just I can see what I like, but compared to Emma's pictures, again, it's going back to, she designed it. So her pictures look better than mine, but we didn't have time to post anything on social media, and we were so busy that it didn't bother us. But then the bigger we grew, the more people we employed, and then from there it just allowed, well, you can now take over social media for us, and then you've always wanted the social media to basically be what we are. So organic, as in, like, we want organic growth, but we also want people to see what they're gonna get. But it's not fake. It's exactly what you're gonna get. It might be taken with a light or a different angle, but that is exactly what you're gonna get. But still, to the day, even though the pictures are brilliant and you've had loads of help and stuff, I think it's busy enough without social media. It definitely helps. Can't say that, but it is pretty busy, isn't it?
It is.
It's funny to see people come in, and some people don't use the menu, they just go on social media and go, I want that. And you're all looking at it going, you made this or you took that. You don't know what it is, but obviously you know, but that's where it can help.
That shows how powerful it is, though.
Yeah, true.
So in terms of, like, the branding then in general and the branding of the store, you said you put the stuff in place, you designed it. How did you come up with a concept for that?
Just a lot of inspiration. Pinterest, a lot of Pinterest.
Mood boards.
Yeah, I had a vision of what I wanted. I wanted it to be bright. Just not too much, but yeah, just nice and bright. Like Australian vibes. And we've had so many people come in, haven't we, say
true.
It's a lot like Australia in here, which we love. So yeah, but again, Pinterest, just all
it's
the
minimalistic as well. So it's basically, you decided just do everything in white, the same colour, because if it gets marked, it gets scratched.
Which is a nightmare. We've painted the shop, I want to say, at least
Four or 5 times.
Minimum since being open. It wasn't the cleverest, but
It
I like
helps
it.
us though, because if it was a different colour, but now it's just all white and you just go over it when you need it. And a good freshen up, it literally looks brand new, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It
lifts
does.
it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
On to you guys personally then. So obviously working with a partner can put a bit of pressure on a relationship as well.
Wow. We've split up at least 560 times.
Well, that kind of answers my question. So I was going to say, has it changed your dynamic outside of work, and would you recommend it to anybody else who might be thinking of going into a business with their partner?
Hospitality is a stressful environment anyway. Jack and I, we don't work together. I mean, there's obviously the odd few days if staff call in sick, we have to work together. But living and working together didn't necessarily work for us. We found that, I think, as we were spending maybe too much time together, we were coming to blows a lot. It was putting a bit of a strain on our relationship. So we're fortunate enough that we said, right, okay, you work X day, I'll work the next. So yeah, we don't work together. I mean, I guess it depends maybe what environment you're working in. Hospitality is hard. It's a stressful, very stressful
It's
job.
on social hours and stuff like that as well sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah,
When we work together, you do 24 hours. Unless one of us goes to shops or goes to the gym. When we first opened, we'd done 6 months, 24/7. Maybe. Yeah, the gyms weren't open. So at the time, we were in Emma's parents' house and they had a gym, which was amazing, but you were still in the same house. So unless you went for a run, things did take its toll. But it took 6 months. So them 6 months were hard, they were difficult. Every single day, even doing the washing, coming up with ideas, staying, maintaining everything. It was tough, and we realised that. So once we sat down, we had a breather to benefit our relationship personally. We didn't take a step back, we just basically split the days. I'd do a Monday, she'd do a Tuesday, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's how we work it now. So even when one of us come home, it's like, how's your day been?
Yeah.
Because we never had that conversation because it didn't need to exist. We just moan about it. Customers, staff, or whatever, and then we take it a lot on. And but to be honest, it's Emma's first business, so hats off to her. She's been an absolute rock. She's been amazing, and for the age, it just shows like how brilliant she's been.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy, especially in a relationship. But now it's sorted. We still argue, but everyone does. And within 2 minutes, it's a hug and it's a kiss, and it's right. Let's move on.
So now you're a couple of years down. I suppose that answers this question. A couple of years down the line, how do you sort of manage things when things perhaps are a little bit more difficult within the business? Is there a clear distinction between that and home life then?
Yeah.
So how I normally tend to go about them kind of situations is take a breather, go and take myself off, whether it's food shopping, go to the gym, come back, and then we'll actually talk about it instead.
You tell me to go to the gym, don't you?
Yeah, either he'll go to the gym or I'll go to the gym. Shout and just get you nowhere. Absolutely. Well, I don't think it does anyway. So I do find the best thing to do is just take a breather, go out, go and do something for an hour, whether it's walk the dog or whatever, come back and then just have a little chat about things.
That's it. Do you know, it goes, I think that goes with a lot of things in life anyway, in terms of your mental health, your well-being. If things are on your mind, honestly, the best thing you can do is to get it off your chest, speak to someone. And that's why one of the best things about Emma is just, she's so mature in terms of like, what's up, or vice versa. I've had my own businesses in the past, I've had a lot of experience in the past, and she's there now, but it's took me a lot longer to get there.
Yeah.
So getting off your chest, anyone that's potentially listening or watching, if you've got some sort of issue, the best thing you can do, you don't have to do it in an aggressive way. And if people don't take to what you're trying to say, then at least it's off your chest.
Yeah.
Because once it's off your chest, everything just releases and you feel so much better. You get headaches, you can get cramps, you can get, your body is physically tight and you can feel yourself getting a headache. So the quicker you can get it off your chest, you will get angry in the future or whatever, and you'll get pissed off at someone. You could be in the car, but as soon as you get it off your chest, it's like bang, done, finished. And it's just the best feeling ever. But that's what we've learned to do straight away, haven't we?
And is that how you would, because obviously you've got people working underneath you as well, how do you manage their stresses and anxieties, and what's your sort of awareness of that? Do you have anything in place, or is it that kind of advice that you would give them?
When we take people on, we tell them, listen, this is our little baby. We do not tolerate toxic environment, full stop. So if it does get slightly toxic, or we can see it, or we can hear it, we shut it down immediately. If they continue to do that, it's not for you.
Have there been instances where that's had to?
No. People will talk. If someone, it could be anything. If someone hasn't closed the table, if someone hasn't if someone's done brown toast or white toast, someone will always talk about someone, or someone will get the blame. But what we've tried to do is, one of the main things that you can do is hold yourself accountable. There's no one that's going to shout at you. We're not going to shout. I'm not going to shout. If you break a dish, all we expect is an apology. Again, get it off your chest. But then there's personal lives. People have personal lives, and staff is difficult. We found that, haven't we, so much?
Yeah, massively. If everyone's feeling down or whatever, we'll always try and pull them to the side and say, listen, we're here if you need to chat. Or, whatever it may be. A lot of them like to talk between each other, don't they?
Yeah,
There's obviously been a few times where they've been struggling a lot, so they've come and spoke to us, and we've just said, whether it's like a bit of time off you may need or whatever, always here to talk. But yeah, as Jack says, it's just always best to get it off your chest, isn't it?
Most people just need to get off their chest. Got a problem at home. As soon as they get off, their attitude changes, and you can see it. So.
But when people say business is literally 24/7, it is.
Yeah.
So you get phone calls at all sorts of times,
But that's encouraging. They're obviously leaning on you for that kind of support,
which is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Part-time business owner, part-time counsellor. But yeah, no, always here, and they know that as well.
Yeah.
Always a phone call away if they ever do need anything.
If they want a coffee.
Come and sit down, have a coffee.
But that's the good thing about getting good staff in as well. So the likes of our manager now, who's my sister, she likes listening to people. Well, I say that, she mightn't do. But she's good at consoling people, and she's good at listening to people's problems, and then she's good at finishing it. So after they've spoke to her, it's a full stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't even get to us.
Yeah.
So that's why you employ supervisors and managers, which is great. They'll take all the slack. But again, now that we've evolved a bit more, and now we're more established and we're busier, without the likes of a manager and my sister, it wouldn't work the way it would. But again, step by step, small steps, and you just learn as you go, don't you?
You do.
On a more positive note, then, what would you say your favourite aspect is of running your own business?
Oh.
It's the time you can provide for yourself. I know money is a big thing for a lot of people, but I do personally think the more time you can give yourself to work on yourself, it's more important than money. And we do give ourselves time, don't we?
We do.
Which is great. We give ourselves days to ourselves. We give ourselves days together. And then we also plan ahead. So we like to spend money on memories, not materials. Obviously, people like nice things, we like nice things, but we'd rather go away, wouldn't we, and stuff like that. That's what I'd say. Having a business, that time is important. But people have other businesses where they work 6-7 days a week. We could do that if we wanted to, and we could probably earn more money because we'd have to pay less staff and the outgoings would come down.
But you'd lose that freedom.
Exactly. So that's what I've learned, and don't know.
So I think that's definitely the answer would be, freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in terms of looking forward then, obviously you've grown exponentially in 2 years from that first day that you mentioned. What are your ambitions? Do you want to open more stores? Do you want to open different types of businesses? Where do you sort of see
$1 million question, isn't it?
Hopefully it's $1 million question.
Ideas all the time. And do you know what? Some of them are really good. Some of them are just hysterical. Before we had the big crisis of fuel going up and the energy prices rising and everything going
Which
up,
will have affected you guys.
yeah, it did, and it still is. But it's do we open a number 2, or is it not the right time? Which right now to us, it's not the right time and climate. Is it?
No, absolutely not. We're still focusing massively on what we've got, and we're trying to make it as amazing as we can.
Yeah.
So yeah, going forward, I don't know. We really definitely gonna do another one at some point down the line. Right now, as Jack said, it's just not the time. But definitely would love to do another one.
Okay.
But again, it's down to that step by step. Like people say to us, "Oh, you need to expand. You need to do this," and we're like, "Yeah, cool," but in our own time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going quick. It's grown pretty quick as it is, anyway,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
If you had one piece of advice then for anybody watching or listening who's considering taking the plunge and starting their own business, what would it be?
My personal advice is, if you have a job, is to keep it.
Okay.
But work on it as a side hustle. I done the opposite way. So I just thought, right, I'm gonna just go dive straight into personal training. Basically sold me tools, and this was years before the coffee shop. And what I should have done was both. I know people do both now, and what they're doing is great. If you think you can just dive into something, you can't. Whereas our game's different because it's a full-time job straight away, and you could probably get your money back. If you were going to dive into a coffee shop, you need to just read into, obviously, finances. Can you finance it? Can you start it? Because the thing with a coffee shop is it's instant money, but it's not necessarily yours. We didn't take a wage, did we, for months and months?
No.
And
You've got to account for that before you do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my advice: is if you want to start, 100% go for it. If that's what makes you happy, if that you know you're going to be happy doing it, great. But keep your job until you know that's it. Now I can now leave that and start that other one.
Yeah, absolutely same. Or whether it's savings, make sure you have a lot of savings to the side. But my advice would be absolutely go for it. Absolutely
Any regrets?
none. Absolutely. I have
Not getting a bigger
absolutely none.
place, but maybe I don't know.
No regrets with the decision.
No.
Nothing. Absolutely
Emma
nothing.
found the unit. I called the landlord on the day. He said that he wanted to create a community, and I told him, "You want a coffee shop?" He was like, "That sounds great." And since that day, don't think there's been any regrets. There's been tough days.
Yeah,
Tough
there's
days when you
always
just
going
wanna
to
sell
be.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many other business owners that I've spoken to, they've all said the same. So it's a normal that you feel like you just want to walk away, and it's so normal that you have bad days, you have days where you do cry. It's stressful, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it isn't. Anything worth having doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing.
It's
brilliant.
it's literally a rocky road or a mountain, because there's things that you need to climb. There's things that you need to get over. And it's always about solving the problem.
Yeah. Worth the challenge.
Yeah, always.
So our last question is one that we ask everybody, which is how you define success, and that's both on a personal level and in terms of the business. So if you could each sort of take a stab at that.
You want to go first?
You go first. I'll have a little think of my answer.
Success to me is, firstly, obviously it's a bit cliche, but it's now about being happy, in terms of healthy, happy, your well-being, your state of mind being, this is what I'm happy doing. This is, when we have kids in the future, are they happy because they're in an environment where we're happy? And it's always, that's the priority. And then anything to that is a byproduct. So if it's money, it's a byproduct. If it's materials, it's just a byproduct. But overall, if Emma's happy, that makes me happy, and my success, I'm done, I'm finished. And that goes with the family as well and friends if they're happy. It's just that environment. I just want everyone that I care about to be happy and to spread it as much as I can, really.
Yeah, definitely happiness. Yeah. Happiness and just
A dog.
the dog. Yeah, just freedom as well. It's a huge one. But yeah, definitely happiness.
I think that's a great place to leave it. Thanks so much for doing this today, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah.
Thank you.